Hey friends, Cherie here. Welcome back to the channel, Gardening at Home with Cherie. Well, we are up in the kitchen about to harvest our pea shoots and some microgreens. I apologize. You probably hear in the background, I started the dishwasher. I forgot I was going to record a video. So hopefully I won't have to do a voiceover. But we have here the speckled pea, the dung pea, and the parsley pea. We started these all on the same day together. I will link to that video if you missed it. The dung pea and the speckled pea I'm gonna harvest today. They're a little bit taller. I didn't get to them yesterday like I planned. They can grow really fast once they get going. The parsley pea, I'm gonna wait another day or two, let them get a little bit taller. So with these two here that we're gonna harvest, I've already dumped the water out of the bottom and I've just rinsed them off. This is soilless, so if you look back at that video, you'll know all we did was rinse our peas and put them directly into the holder here, and we let them soak, and then they sprout and they grow. And to harvest them, all I'm gonna do is just reach in and cut them. That's it. Simple as that. And these pea shoots are delicious. They taste just like peas. And so I use these to make salads. I put them in salads. They'll last, for me, stored in the fridge properly, they'll last for a week. But I usually just grow smaller amounts in succession so I can harvest them, and we'll eat this up in probably 2 to 3 days. And then everything that is left in here will go into my compost. So I have an indoor composter, and I'm just gonna compost all that. And it's just it's like a thick mat. It's kind of hard. What I'll do, I'll come in here, and there's a little bit more water that I've seeped out. So what I'll do is I'll come in here and just cut that off, all those roots. And then you just come in here and just pull that out. Yeah, and that's it. And all that is gonna go into my composter. And let's get washed out, and we're gonna start some more peas. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing to this. I'm gonna get them wrapped up in a wet paper towel into their glass storage container and into the fridge. All right, I got those in the fridge, but just want to show you these here. These just pulled right up because the roots weren't as, long and entangled. And I told you in that video, I had sown them a little bit overly dense. This is my first time using these containers for the peas. And I forgot, when you soak the peas, they expand. So there were probably some in there that didn't really sprout, but that's okay. My composter will break these down so that they won't sprout when they go out into the garden. So I'm gonna get that into the composter. I already put the pea sprouts or the pea shoots in the fridge. And then I'm gonna put these back down in the grow room, and then we're gonna grab a tray of microgreens, show you or baby greens, I'll show you how I harvest those. Yeah. All right, and the final thing we're gonna harvest, I have more, I'm just gonna show it in a picture, but I gotta move kind of quickly. These are the purple radish microgreens that have become my new favorite. They are delicious and beautiful. All right, y'all, so I was talking, and when I shifted the camera, I must have accidentally stopped recording. So I totally missed the harvesting of the purple radish microgreens, but that's okay. I have one more that I'm gonna go get and talk you through how I harvest when things are growing in soil. So let me get this out of the way. I'll leave these beautiful, beautiful radish microgreens. And I'm gonna go get another tray that I need to harvest. All right, so I have this flat of, this is French corn salad. Look how beautiful that is. So I'm gonna get this harvested with you. So when I'm harvesting with stuff grown in soil, I don't wanna inadvertently lift any soil up. I wanna keep these as clean as possible. So I'm just gonna come in here, and I'm really bummed because the radishes would have been much better to demonstrate because they have such a long stalk where these don't. But I'm just kind of going straight across the line of the tray without lifting anything because I don't want to inadvertently lift up the roots and start incorporating soil into my mixture. So that keeps them really clean. For this, I think I have a knife that I like to use for the smaller ones like this. Let me grab that. So this knife, it's just a straight blade, and that works great too. So I'm just kind of grabbing on the top. So I'm just grabbing a chunk on the top. I'm just kind of shaving across with the blade, dumping into the bowl. Always check and make sure you have not lifted any soil, especially with these small tender baby greens, because it can be really difficult to kind of get those out. And the nice thing with these, right, if I just wanted to harvest these fresh to have for my salad, I could leave all this, but I'm actually harvesting all this because this is going to be the base of my salad. And so I'm gonna get all these out because I'm gonna be starting a bunch more flats with you all. You just want to make sure you're just lifting up what has been cut and not anything still attached to the soil. Okay. And you'll be tempted to go in there and kind of, because this is like a dense mat. I mean, I could let this regrow also. Maybe that's what I'll do with this, to see what that looks like in a couple days. Letting it continue to grow and regrow. Maybe I'll do that. But if you're somebody who enjoys microgreens and you buy them in the store, you'll know how pricey they are. I've seen where I see them, and every once in a while I'll get some because especially in the summertime, I don't typically grow them, so sometimes I'll throw them in just because I want to try something, because I want to make something and I need a little batch. But they're typically like $7-8 for a few ounces. And so it's a nice, quick, and easy and inexpensive thing to grow yourself at home, especially if you're like me. I already have everything. Go back in the other direction. The things that are kind of falling over. But I'm pretty happy with this. And you can see there's still a lot here. And like I said, I'm going to leave this one to grow up. But honestly, this is what I'm after. Well, I'll show you. Let's lift this up. Here, this bowl. This is what I'm after. That's a lot of microgreens. A lot of microgreens. And yeah, I would just pull this out. Again, like well, that may have gotten cut off. But what I do is I'll pull up all the plant matter that's left shake the soil off, and then I reuse that soil, and then all the plant matter that's left simply gets composted. All right, so I'm gonna get these 2 containers of microgreens rinsed, dried, and stored in my fridge as well. But I just wanted to share one video at least where I'm showing the process of harvesting. Now we're gonna go downstairs and we're gonna sow. After I get these in the fridge, we're gonna meet in the grow room, and I have a bunch more greens that I'm gonna set up. Some of them for the first time, and so I'll share that with you as well. All right, friends, we're down in the grow room now. Before we start up the next batch of greens, I just want to give you a little bit of update. I think this is the latest one that we sowed together, though I can't remember. But that's the red callaloo. These are the black-eyed pea leaves. I'm excited to taste those. This is that Japanese snow kamatuna. What is this here? This is the purple choice some. This is a dandelion variety. This is a chicory right here. And then this is the red mustard tatsoi. I need to pull those out and harvest those. My African leaf amaranth is a little spotty, so this might not be a good one to try indoors. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. But I'm gonna get these separated because see these ones that are, that's why I like putting them in these trays too. I can keep them kind of compact while I'm maintaining them, but then if I need to separate things out, like this kamatsuna is falling over and covering the dandelion, and so I'll separate those so everything can have their own space. I'm gonna harvest and eat those. And so yeah, and then here I need to come in and wipe down all of these. But this is what I'm waiting on for my romaine lettuces to get big enough to harvest so I can start mixing those with the microgreens. Look how beautiful. But they're all coming along. I think in another like 3 weeks, I'll have leaves continually ready to harvest and mix with the microgreens. Okay, friends, so we're down in the grow room. We're gonna wrap this video up by sowing. We're gonna do 8 new varieties of microgreens / baby greens. We'll see at what stage I decide to harvest them. First one we're gonna do is the Long Island Brussels sprouts. I've never done Brussels sprout microgreens before. Actually, before I do this, I'm gonna make sure my surfaces are flat. I'm kind of in a rush to get this done because hubby and I are going to do some stuff and get this finished up. As I always do, sprinkle, sprinkle. I finally got Brussels sprouts to grow this year, but they still like outdoor in the garden. And I saw the Brussels form, but they still just, the season came to an end, so they are tricky for me outdoors, but I'm gonna enjoy the leaves of these little microgreens. And I did eat some of the leaves of the plants from outdoors, but that might be something I have to give up on. And to be honest, I mean, there are local farmers that grow it here, so I can get it actually pretty cheaply here. So I could buy them in the store for the space that they take up and the effort. I can get them for $3 a pound, organic. So, all right, our next seed we're gonna do is the purple Vienna kohlrabi. I've done this one before on its own, and I have a couple of mixes that have the purple kohlrabi in it. I enjoy that one. Next, we're going to do some leek microgreens. I'm going to use this big bag of the large Armenian flag leeks. This will be a yummy treat to add to some salads. I'll probably do a larger container of this. I have some, trying to start some like every few days. And so I have some bigger trays I'm going to be setting up for something special I'll tell you guys about. And I'll probably do some of these in a larger container for that. Our fourth one we're going to do is the snowball cauliflower. This is the first time I'm doing this alone. I do have, again, some blends that have cauliflower mixed in it. I love these microgreens because they let me still have diversity in my cooking and our diet for me and the family, even during the winter. They grow so quick, and you know, the leaves, like the cauliflower microgreens are going to taste like cauliflower. But I don't have to wait months for an actual cauliflower to grow. The fifth one we're going to do is, this is a purple top white globe turnip, and basically, you know, the turnip greens taste like. I don't think I've ever done this variety also alone. I don't think so. I did a big seed haul video. I'll link to it if you're curious. But what I did was I bought a bunch of stuff actually last spring, because I knew for the winter garden that I wanted to try a bunch of different kinds of microgreens. I typically just grew the same 4 or 5 mixes. The only thing I typically grew by itself was broccoli. And so yeah, I got a bunch of stuff to try, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Our sixth one we're going to do is carrot microgreens. Number 7 is the rocket arugula. Arugula, I should say, is another one I grow by itself as microgreens. You've seen the channel probably before. And then our 8th and final one for today is plantain or plantain. This is the leaf, not the fruit. Wonderful, wonderful leafy green. I drink plantain tea quite frequently in the winter, but it's also good to eat the greens. So here we go. Do that. I've grown these greens outdoors before, but I've never grown them indoors as microgreens. So that will be nice. Okay, friends, so that is it for today. You can see the moringa tree is still growing good. But I'll be back with more in the next video. Take good care. Bye. So friends, this is one of the typical ways of using microgreens. These are roasted vegetables from last night's dinner. Just heating them up. My husband's working from home today and requested an omelet. So yeah, let me get my eggs ready. I got my egg mixture, pour it in. All right, hit it with a little bit of a mixture of Swiss and Gruyere cheese. I'm actually gonna put this in the oven. All right, we're gonna get this plated. So y'all, this man is ready to eat. So I'm gonna put some microgreens on as the finishing touch. Make sure he gets in some fresh green vegetables. So here he has a little portion of the, I think this is the jajimi sai. Let me see, let me get the tag. Yep, these are the jajimi sai greens, which I grow outside, and I've shared in videos. They get way bigger. Obviously, I grew these as baby greens indoors, and they are packed full of nutrition. And yeah, I feel great about, you know, incorporating these in our diets during the winter, making sure we still get some fresh leafy greens every day. Another way I really like to enjoy microgreens is with soup. So I took the rest of those vegetables, those roasted vegetables from last night's dinner. I added a jar of chicken bone broth and a jar of my home pressure canned beans. It was a Spanish variety. I'll try to put the name on the screen, and I'll link to the video where I show you how to pressure can beans as well. But I'm gonna let this warm up, and then I'm gonna blend it. So, I mean, you could eat it chunky, but today I'm in the mood for like a sipping soup while I work. And so, yeah. So here's my soup, y'all. I ended up actually adding a can of the jovial, not the whole one, but the crushed tomatoes, and a jar of tomato paste. Decided to actually just turn it into more like a tomato tasting soup. I was just in the mood, y'all, especially with these greens. And so, yeah, I'm just topped them off with the rest of the jajimi sai baby greens. They have like a little kick to them. They're a little spicy. And it's just going to be a good green goodness, freshness that's going to be perfect on this cold, snowy day. So I'm going to go sit and enjoy my soup. And now we're going to head back down into the grow room and start some more microgreens.